Hello again, my MMA true believers. I am Jason Burgos for Sherdog.com, and I am joined by the resident MMA champ of one championship and a sporting icon in Myanmar. But of course, on October 30th, at One Championship Inside the Matrix, he ends his year-long hiatus and defends his middleweight title against rising talent Reinier de Ridder, and that man is the one and only Burmese Python himself, Aung La Nsang. Aung La, thanks so much for the time to talk. This long-awaited return to action.
Well, thank you for having me, and thank you for the intro.
And my pleasure. It's well deserved. Have a bunch of questions for you as always. Now, you tested positive for COVID back in July. That was like a major story and everything. Obviously, you are in outstanding shape, and were able to get through it without major symptoms or like a hospital stay, the kind of worst case scenario. At that time, your gym, Sanford MMA, got hit good with it. Gilbert lost his title fight. Steve Mowry lost a fight with Bellator. Reportedly, some coaches got it too. What are the changes that Sanford has made there? Like, are they doing like testing often? Are you doing just maybe testing on your own? Because you don't obviously want to get it again, but second, you don't want to lose this opportunity. You waited a year to get back to action. So, what is the kind of things you're doing to stay COVID free before this fight?
Well, during that time, we did everything in small groups.
Mm-hmm.
Guys that didn't, the guys that didn't have it, the guys that had it, the guys that have antibodies for it. We did small groups.
Okay.
Um, Florida is back on stage 3 now, so we are okay to resume practice as pretty much normal, I would say. And then for me, when I'm about to fly out next week, I have to do another test.
Okay.
For one championship. But things are going back to normal. When I had it, I quarantined myself. When teammates had it, they quarantined themselves. We did as best as we could. And then we did small practice, and then eventually we went and we were back to pretty much
So the
normal
interview,
now.
what you mentioned that you felt relieved that when you found that it was particularly COVID. Was that relief feeling because okay, I got it, I got through it, I have the antibodies, or were you concerned it might be something else? Because I was reading about you had like fatigue and the body aches, didn't know what it was. Were you worried it was like something else? Like, oh man, do I have
Yeah,
Lyme disease or something else? And
exactly. And then when we heard, when I found out it was like when I found out it was COVID, I was happy, relieved. It's not like I don't have to worry about this stuff. But the whole world stopped. This 2020, we stopped,
yeah,
pretty much stopped because of COVID. And so I'm glad I have antibodies for it, and I'm glad I went through it. And looking back, could like if I didn't have it, like I wouldn't know what COVID is.
yeah.
Now I firsthand know what COVID is. It's real. Symptoms vary from person to person. You know but it's something that we can live with and I'm okay with. So I'm glad that I got it. When I did have it, I quarantined myself and I did what's responsible. I didn't go out.
Yeah.
So, so I think, like in my opinion, we can't live in fear. We got to keep moving on, and we'll get over it.
Now let's talk about this fight with De Ridder. In an interview after his last fight in February, he said he had a lot of respect for you. You felt you were a great fighter. He also said this though. He said, "When I look at him, when I look at the way he moves, when I look at his posture, when I look at his stance, I feel like I am the piece to fit in the puzzle. I am the guy who's going to finish this guy. I am going to get him, wear him out, take him down, and choke him out. There's only one way." First, just give me rapid reaction when you hear those comments from him that he thinks he's going to choke you out.
He doesn't believe it. He's just saying that. He doesn't even believe it. Like I've been doing jujitsu. I've been doing jujitsu since he was a kid. So he doesn't believe it.
Do you think, and that's what I was going to go to too, because a lot of people may have forgot how good you are at jiu-jitsu. That was the base style. That's what you got a lot of your wins earlier and a lot of your career. And then you got under the tutelage of Henry Hooft and now you've become this hammer of a striker and just knock people out. You're on a streak of multiple TKOs and KOs in a row. But going back to that, you still have 12 submissions in your career. Do you think, in a way, is he just foolish and is he forgotten? Does he not understand that you don't get 12 submissions in this game easily? Like, do you think, it's crazy to say at this level, but is he kind of underestimating your grappling and your takedown ability?
I think so. I think he is, and only time will tell. But I'm not one trick pony, and I'm constantly trying to evolve, trying to get better, become a better version of myself. So for him to say that, it's kind of ridiculous. I know a lot of his interview, he thinks he's the missing puzzle piece. He even said he's going to submit me in 10 seconds. Like,
wow.
he doesn't believe it, and he'll know right away. He'll know right away when he grabs me that he's dealing with something else.
Now let's be, maybe let's be ridiculous, just for argument's sake. Let's say he's a little bit better than you on the ground, but for conversation's sake, let's say he just edges you there on the feet. It feels like you have a huge advantage in terms of striking, though, because he's not a bad strike, but he uses it really to set up his shots more than anything. He wants to get a hold of people and get him down. Do you feel there's a massive gap between you two there? And is the crux of your strategy for this fight to work your wrestling defense, to keep it on the feet, and make him pay for saying things like he's going to choke you out in 10 seconds?
Like, what he's going to do. You know what I'm going to do, too. It's pretty obvious. But only time will tell, because if you watch his fights, like, I thought, man, he's going to have a lot of trouble with these Brazilian guys, since they're also jiu-jitsu black belts. Yeah. But somehow he finds a way to win, And if you look at me stylistically, I don't mind getting punched in the face. No, really, I don't mind getting kicked in the face. I don't mind getting punched in the face. But I think he does mind. If I put my hands on him, if I throw some kicks in there, his attitude, his style is going to change. You can say a lot about my posture, my whatever, But I've been working very hard in the last 2 years with Greg Jones and Kami Barzini on my wrestling and becoming a better wrestler. So I believe I'm a total different fighter than I was 2 years ago, and definitely I've been improving since my last bout with Brandon Vera.
Now, I asked Martin Nguyen the flip side of this question last night, but on the same card as you is Martin. He's fighting Tan Lee. He, as your bestie in this game, in this world, that's a fight I think many people are looking forward to. What are your thoughts on that fight? And is this one of the more dangerous opponents Martin has maybe faced, at least in the striking realm, maybe for the first time in a while, do you think?
Well, it would be, it would be if Martin stays stagnant. True. But he's improved a lot too. Like, physically, he's gotten a lot stronger. Like I'm gonna give you an example, right? On the dumbbell bench, when he first did camp here, he was struggling with 65-pound dumbbells. Okay. Now he does 110 pounds on each side.
Damn.
Think about that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So think about that. He's physically gotten stronger, and he's gotten he's been doing really well in this camp. Living here with us. Eating Chick-fil-A.
As a person that's been at this level and had to work their way up to championship, what do you feel is like the thing maybe people underestimate about him? Not that they're underestimating him; he's done enough in this sport and in this promotion. But what do you feel like they still look at Martin and go, "Oh, well, he can't do this yet"?
Well, maybe it's because of the competition, that he's had. Yeah. But he's up there, I know how he does with guys like, the guys in our gym, with Michael Chandler, and all these, guys that people know very well about. But only time will tell, and I know that he's working hard, and I'm working hard as well. And the Sherdog fans, the American fans will get to see more of him and more of myself as well as more one championship guys, and And I promise you that like both of us are very hungry, and we're working really hard, and you'll see more of it on October
Now,
30th.
this last segment is called Five for Fighters, where I'm going to give you 5 phrases or topics or just words or whatever, and I want you to give me like just the first reaction, first thoughts that come into your mind. Now, this first one is a name. When I say Chatri Sit Yog Tog, what comes to mind?
My boss, he's a good soul. He's a good soul.
Now, this one, this is not a word or phrase. This is actually a picture. When you see this picture, this one right here, for the people looking at home, what are the first words that come to mind when you see that picture?
That's motivation, you know. Motivation for me.
What do you, I mean, what is that like? Like, this is a tattoo of your bust, your face and shoulders on a man's face. Like, are you kind of weirded out? Are you feel amazing? Do you feel like a god? Like, no one else is going to know what this feels like. What does it feel like? Oh, I'm never going to get my face tattooed on somebody's face.
It's gonna look real ugly in 10 years.
All right, now the next one is when you hear, we talked about this a good bit already, but when you hear COVID-19, first thoughts.
It's a very controversial topic. Um, like I have my own feelings, but then again, people on the other side of the other side of the spectrum that has symptoms that are deadly and lethal, like they're gonna have a different emotion. So I can't inflict my emotions towards it, but it's very it stopped it stopped the world in 2020 for quite a bit.
Okay, yeah.
And then but I do believe that we as a humanity is going to overcome it.
I agree. I totally agree. Next one is favorite fighter not named Aung La Nsang or Martin Nguyen.
Favorite fighter right now?
Mm-hmm.
uh of all time. You know, I study a lot of fighters. um but right now I like Israel a lot.
Okay.
Israel, Sandra.
Is that a fight? Is that one? Because I asked Martin this yesterday because it was one of the questions from the Sherdog forums for him about, oh, if there was anybody in another promotion that was a free agent or just in another promotion that you wished you could fight. And he gave the more political answer, I'll fight whoever they give me. It's not about that. But for you, would you say Israel Adesanya is the guy you wish you could fight if all things were open?
Controversial, huh? I mean, it really depends, it really depends. Like it's not even for for the money or the fame, you always want to test yourself with the best of help. So
do you like that matchup? Do you feel, you match up well with someone like him?
I think so. I know what he like. I watch what he brings to the table. So like smooth striker and everything.
Now,
it would be cool one day, maybe.
You never know. If the Ali act that was in boxing comes to MMA with this class action, it might happen sooner than you think. Now, the last question, the last part of this Fight for Fighters is best movie you have seen recently.
Best movie I've seen recently.
Even if it's not new, it can just be maybe something that you haven't seen in a while. Like, oh, I love that movie. I just I watched it.
What have I seen lately? This one. Yeah, I haven't watched movies recently. A lot of TV shows.
Well, then give me what's the best TV show you've seen recently?
The one on social media.
I don't know. What's it called?
Social Dilemma.
And what is it on? Like a streaming service or it's on TV channel?
It's on Netflix. It's on Netflix. Social Dilemma.
And what's it about? Because I don't know about it.
You don't know about it?
No, I don't know about it. And Netflix has so much content. You almost get lost in it.
It's saying that social media like Facebook, Instagram, it's made to make you kind of addicted to it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I agree with that.
And that people nowadays can't live without it.
Yep.
And it's a problem. It's a dilemma, in today's society.